What's up, everybody? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Good Monday morning. Big update here on what is still Tropical Storm Sally and what is expected to intensify rapidly in the next 24 to 36 hours as it begins to slow down. Before we get started, hey guys, if you don't mind subscribing, I really would appreciate it. I'm a young YouTuber. I love the weather, huge passion, love talking weather for the Southeast and major events across the United States. And I specialize in weather in South Carolina because this is where I live. But subscribe if you're a passionate weather person and want to stay informed. I appreciate it. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So I appreciate that very much. But check it out. Satellite imagery, explosive convection definitely going up this morning. This is the very latest from the National Hurricane Center, 4 a.m. Central Standard Time. And, check it out. It's still a tropical storm at 60 miles per hour, but it is forecast to go to a hurricane probably later today. But look how tight the H's and the S's are. It's pretty much symbolizing that this thing is going to really slow down. And we're going to talk about why later in this video. But this is the warnings, hurricane warnings for basically the entire coast of Mississippi, parts of Alabama, and a large chunk of Louisiana, including New Orleans. Two huge deals in this storm is going to be storm surge and rainfall. Wind will obviously be an issue too, but I think these are the two main issues. 7 to 11 feet. This is going to pose a big issue because you have a very, how do you say it? The slope of the shore allows storm surge to kind of just gradually really push into these areas. And low elevation is definitely huge, but rainfall is another big deal, and we're going to get more specific on this here in a second. But even the National Hurricane Center, check it out. That is over 20 inches of rain in parts of the Mississippi and Louisiana coast. That is like catastrophic flooding, guys. It is a major deal. And then check it out. Flash flood risk over the next 3 days. It's obviously high down there in that same area. Here it is, the HWRF model, which I mentioned in the last couple videos. The National Hurricane Center is starting to tip its hat to a little bit more. But basically, this is mid-morning Monday or so. It's initializing it as a, very low-end, maybe Cat 1 hurricane, high-end tropical storm. But it basically shows, and this goes in 3-hour intervals. It basically shows the real intensification of Sally. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger until it hits the coast of either Louisiana or the Barrier Islands of Louisiana or either Mississippi here. And as you can tell, we start to get later in the afternoon, evening, Monday. It is still getting stronger. The circulation is getting tighter, if you will. And it looks like regardless of how strong it gets, this is likely going to be a lopsided storm, meaning, it's still going to tighten up, but I think a lot of the action will probably be north and east of the storm. But that might be wrong, but I do think there's going to be a big time cutoff to the west of the storm where it kind of goes from, nothing to something. And, check it out. This thing is probably nearing this is probably a Category 2 hurricane based off the HWRF model. And as you can tell, these are 3-hour notches each time it moves. It's not moving much. I know 3 hours isn't a whole lot, but still you would expect a hurricane to move much faster than this. But, check it out, 965 millibars mid-morning Tuesday, and it is getting stronger. Well, it looks like it does get a little weaker there, but is cruising through them Barrier Islands of Louisiana. And I tell you what, most models want this thing to make landfall in that little area of coast in Mississippi now, which is, kind of rare because it's such a small area to make landfall on. But it looks like it's going to happen Tuesday p.m. So look at the northern end of that storm. It has definitely got a lot of action. But it looks like this model makes it to maybe a low-end major hurricane, which is Category 3. And obviously, when it interacts with land, it begins to weaken quickly. But it's still not moving super fast. But it definitely slows down the most right off the coast which really symbolizes what we think is going to be rapid intensification with the National Hurricane Center, what they think. This is the Euro. Sorry, I'm a little behind here. But the European model even has it pumping close to a Category 2 hurricane, symbolizing that rapid intensification right before landfall. And it has that same slow speed. And it has the same lopsided look to it as far as where all the action is on Sally. To the north and east. So we're going to watch that because that might be a factor on our weather too later in this video, and I want to talk about that here in South Carolina. But this is the winds for the HWRF model. Basically shows, that intensification, and check out that northern eye wall really pushing major storm surge into places like Mississippi and the southeast tip of Louisiana. If you can zoom in there and really look, that's pushing 80, 90, close to 100 mile per hour winds as it pushes into Louisiana. I don't know if we're going to make it that strong, as I think the National Hurricane Center is shooting for 80 to 90 mile per hour at landfall, but we're going to see. I think they're still going with a Category 2, but this is the Euro. The Euro, like I said, is stronger from overnight, and it has it pushing into the same area. It's a little bit more west, a tick more west, but ultimately it looks like it starts just that was a 6 hour, I believe a 6 hour movement. Did you just see that? I mean, that's crazy. It barely moved. That is pumping massive amounts of rainfall into the coastal areas right there in the southern tip of Mississippi and stuff. And that's what we're about to talk about here. Check it out down there. Over a foot of rain is almost guaranteed to fall in portions of the Gulf states down here. That is incredible. So that is definitely something we need to watch out for, and something that's going to happen. So you might as well bet on it. And this is the GFS basically saying the same thing. So this is a major, major deal. The rainfall is huge with this. Over a foot of rain in some areas in the southern areas of Mississippi and Louisiana and even Alabama. So massive, maybe historic rains, record-breaking rains, I guess is what I meant to say. But this is the National Weather Service. So you can tell the GFS and the Euro aren't a fluke. The National Weather Service is predicting just as much rain. So the slow movement upon arrival of of what will be Hurricane Sally is what's doing this. And check it out. This is the European model. So I did a broader view because I want to show how heavy the rainfall could be in places like Atlanta, even into our state here in South Carolina. And the GFS is much more north. The reason that is because of trough, a very strong cold front that's going to be working its way through the Carolinas and delivering a beautiful, beautiful weekend this coming weekend with beautiful fall air. The European has it coming through much faster, and that's allowing the storm to push more south into South Carolina and the Carolinas. So I want to show this because it may be a breezy start to the weekend due to the remnants of Sally. But a big deal this rapid intensification is going to occur is because the sea surface temps in the Gulf of Mexico obviously are still warm. They're not quite as warm when Laura went through, but they're still warm. Not much difference, 83 to 84 degrees. And then the steering currents, the high pressure on top, the ridging, if you will, is going to really slow them Sally down and make it just sit over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico and barely move for about 24 to 36 hours. So even though it's so close to land, the low pressure is still over water, so it's getting stronger and stronger. But I do think them steering currents will eventually tick over, move the high pressure, the ridging, if you will move over east, allowing the storm to start to get just to actually move. But still, I mean, we're in the Tuesday now, mid-morning, and it's still not moving much. But check it out. We start to get later into, that was about a day or so time lapse there. But check it out, a huge cold front. That's what that huge area of darker reds and oranges is. That is a trough dipping down, and it's going to scoot whatever's left of the remnants of Sally on out of here, but not before it pushes it into our state. So we're going to have another video talking about how it could affect us at home in South Carolina here in the next day or so. But I appreciate y'all watching. That's the update. Y'all stay safe out there because this could turn into a really nasty situation. Y'all have a blessed Monday.